Did Donald Trump suck Bill Clinton's cock? That is the question today. Morning, folks. I'm Joey Avery. Welcome to the Joey Show. We have an emergency podcast for you today because some new motherfucking lore just dropped. A new potential piece of American history has debuted. There is a little piece from the Epstein files that dropped over the weekend, and people, they're having a feeding frenzy. They are suckling off this news like a couple of presidents filleting each other on an island. Now, we're going to go through this. We're going to go through where this came from, if it's true, what it could all mean, what it means for you. If you're hard right now, you got to ask yourself some serious fucking questions. Serious questions. Now, we're going to ask serious questions of our system, of our elected leaders, okay? Of whether or not the commander-in-chief sucked off another commander-in-chief. Okay? Okay? Did the okay, doesn't matter, folks. Here's the deal. In March of 2018, Mark Epstein sent an email. Mark Epstein is, of course, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, and apparently they email like brothers do. Heating up the old Yahoo account. What do you think? They had Hotmails? I wonder who their email server was. In an email sent in March 2018, Mark Epstein told Jeffrey Epstein to ask Steve Bannon, Trump's former chief strategist, if Russian President Vladimir Putin has, quote, the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Now, the internet was thrown into a tizzy by this, and so let's ask a question. Why was Bill Clinton known as Bubba? Okay. People went crazy. They're like, what could this mean? Why, is Bill Bubba? So they asked Mark Epstein. So Bill Clinton was widely known by the nickname Bubba, simply because it is a common informal term of address in the southern United States where he was born and raised and got into getting his cock sucked. Boy, does that guy love getting his cock sucked. He is one of the all-time receivers of head. And look, everyone loves getting their knob polished, all right? That's a pretty normal thing to be into. Pretty normal thing to have someone just, and you go, yeah. You like that. A little slob on the knob, dude. A little moisture, a little wetness, little motion. Those are the main things that a penis enjoys, but you know that. We don't have to get into that. What was it? Okay, and Mark Epstein goes on here. You and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. Weird email to send to your brother. Epstein responded and said, okay, call to activism and account with everyone, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Epstein replied, and I thought I had surries, which is apparently Yiddish for troubles, and I thought I had problems, is essentially what he was saying. Now, you put that email together with the email where Epstein says to Ghislaine, Trump is the dog that hasn't barked, and it's creating a bit of a picture here. Yes, he was more involved than we think. Is it a smoking gun? Well, no. In fact, they actually they asked Mark Epstein. They asked Mark Epstein here. It says... they asked Mark Epstein who Bubba was, and Epstein expanded only to say that Bubba did not mean Bill Clinton and then did not expand on who it was or what he meant. Hey, I got a question for you, news media here, if I am reading that correctly. Find out. The fuck? Can you find... Okay, so Mark Epstein himself is saying, no, that wasn't Clinton. Now, it would make some sense. Why does Trump hate Hillary so much, dude? Because he loves getting that. Sucking on that. Making time for that. Goddamn. Fuck. Hey, what the hell? Shit. What the fuck? Couple presidents finna make me act up. Shit. What the fuck? What do you mean video? So let's say it's not Bill Clinton. Is there a video of Trump blowing someone? That feels relevant. And hey, and that would be fine. I have no problem. If Donald Trump wants to suck dong, that's fine. I have no problem with that. He's a sexually adventurous man. The real thing is he consistent on these topics? Now, let's say none of this is true and it's all, brothers, talking shit, whatever. Well, then I don't feel bad about engaging in this because this is exactly the type of party Trump liked to have fun at. A little online conspiracy. Fine. If we're going to do it, let's all indulge in it. Is this politics now? We might as well do it. Everyone's saying Barack Obama's wife, Michelle, has a big old fucking huge cock. If you're going to say Big Mike is packing an absolute dong, then everyone else might as well say Trump's been swallowing swords. If this is what we're going to do, let's just do it. There's a version of America that I would like to exist where it's basically just the West Wing and we're walking around and we're debating policy and topics and ideas, and it's this big Socratic seminar where we're all just talking about what's the best for our country, what's the best for our people, what's the best way to run a society, and we're engaging in debate. Engaging in high-minded, beautiful political debate like the learned scholars that we are. But if we're not going to do that, I'm going to say Papa T doesn't even spit. And you should too, because it's fun and it's funny, and I like to, I'm going to come right out and say it. I like to imagine it. Not because I'm into it, but because it's funny. These are our leaders. These are our leaders, and they're sucking each other off. Yeah, dude. Does anyone in politics not have weird sexual shit? I would be heartbroken if I found out Bernie Sanders even came. I don't want to think about that. I'm glad he's not in the Epstein files because he seems like a principled man, and it would hurt my heart. But also, I don't want to even think about him kissing. Bernie Sanders is the type of politician that I think holds his wife's hand to procreate. That's what I think, and I'm glad that that's all that I have to think about. But I've already been thinking about Clinton's dick and Trump's dick, and pause. And I don't mean that in a crazy way. I'm just saying. Sorry, my headphones came unplugged there, and I don't want you to hear buzzing. I'm just saying if we're already doing it, let's do it at the highest level. Here's the thing about if Trump did suck Clinton's dick, and I want to be clear, we don't have hard evidence of that. Honestly, a great response, and if I was Trump, I would lean into this. It's almost impossible to say that he did suck Bill Clinton's dick, because if he did suck Bill Clinton's dick, he'd still be sucking to this day. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen? What I mean is like I said, I already know too much about this. I know a lot about Bill Clinton's habits when it comes to getting that knob polished. That Monica Lewinsky, St. John has a song about that. She that Monica Lewinsky. Talking about getting domed up, I imagine. Okay, domed up under the desk like a gentleman. And that's why maybe we have a desk here today. You can't. I'm filming. I had to move these two lamps and make a makeshift podcast that I'm standing in the kitchen. You don't know what's going on waist down. I'm in my PJs. I went to a PJ party last night. I'll tell you guys about it later. This is not the point. Bill Clinton doesn't even come when he gets his cock sucked. That's a fact. That's a fact. Monica Lewinsky claimed that she sucked his dick over and over and over. She was just rinse and repeat and just gluckety gluck, dude. Gluckety gluck. And he would be taking phone calls. This is how business used to be done. What a better time before email. What a better time before email. He would just hop on the phone and just get sucked off. No one gets their cock sucked while sending an email. You're just not doing that. That's a phone call sort of activity. So anyway, he'd be calling people up, just ad guys, hey, donors. Hey, I need some money now. I need some money now. Monica's down there and shit. But I'm gonna need an extra couple million. I haven't heard Bill talk in a while. I think that's pretty good. Who knows? And he would be getting his cock sucked, and she would be sucking his cock. And she said that he only came once, and he splooged on that beautiful blue dress. It's a nice blue dress, beautiful dress. He came all over it. That's why I didn't wear my tie when I sucked him off. And he made a spunk on her blue dress, and she kept it. And that's what brought him down in the end. Now, I don't want to victim blame here. Monica Lewinsky was a young 20-something-year-old woman who had a prime opportunity, an opportunity to suck the dick of the president. And a lot of people would take that opportunity, potentially even Donald Trump. But a lot of people would take that opportunity because it's the president's dick. And if you're a god, people go to war for the president. A lot of people do. People risk life and limb for the president. The opportunity to suck a president's cock is a high honor in this country, and by God, she took it, and she was of age to serve. And she did it over and over again, and a lot of times he wouldn't even come. So it wasn't even that hard. She was just going, She didn't even have to go. So she would suck his cock over and over and over again, and I shouldn't know this, but I do. Okay? And again, it makes sense she would do it. You know what? She was a young gal. She was an intern, and she was trying to work her way up. It didn't help her career. That's the problem. But I will say, in fairness to Bill, and one thing that's not very nice, Monica, keeping the dress he came on is odd behavior. I'm just going to come out and say it. That's weird. It's odd of you. A little gross. But fine, I get it. Put it in the Smithsonian. It's a piece of history. So I can get why it would happen, and I can see why Bill did it too. Bill's like, I'm the president. I can't get my dick sucked? What the fuck? The amount of stress and pressure I'm under. I got to fly to fucking Egypt. I got to fly all over this goddamn thing. I got people screaming at me all the time. I can't get a little sucky. It's the goddamn 90s, okay? And it wasn't very nice of him to do, but it happened, and I get it. Now, the real question is, did Donald Trump do the same thing? Mark Epstein says no, but then he declines to extrapolate. Hey, journalist, do a better job. Could you tell us what he meant? Are there photos of Donald Trump sucking a cock? And by the way, I'd be fine if there were, and it would explain why he's acting so weird about it, because as far as I can tell, and no, I didn't read the 20,000 documents, folks. I'm not getting paid enough for this podcast. I lose money on it. Shout out to the 12. I still love you. I didn't read all 20,000 documents. From what I have heard from sources that I trust, there isn't really a smoking gun in there. There's not like the thing that you can see. And granted, there's more documents to come. And they're releasing them because this resolution finally went through. They finally opened up government, and they had one more person to the House who voted on the release and blah, blah, blah. And now it's happening, and now we're in Epsteinville. And the juiciest rumor comes out, is Donald Trump sucking that cock? Now, Donald Trump was a famous man who liked to party and famously liked to have a lot of sex. Now, what do we know about famous guys who like to party and like to have a lot of sex? Now, sometimes they push the limit. Sometimes they downshift. They rev the engine a little bit. They push it to the limit. They beat the game of pussy, and they wonder if there are more games to be played. Maybe they're throwing a butt plug in there. I don't know. Maybe they're having sex with a few people at once. Maybe you do that. Maybe you're having orgies. People have whole groups of people get together and have sex. I've been told. I've not been to one of these events. I'm not a politician. But a lot of guys who have a lot of sex sometimes go a little bit further. It's addict mentalities. You start out, hey, maybe he'll do a little bump of coke. Next thing you know, you're snorting crack off a spoon in an alley. And I don't think that's how crack works, but you understand the point. You're hanging out with guys named Rico, odd characters, people you shouldn't be with. You're hanging out in crack dens, and they're filthy. Crackheads don't know how to clean. You'd think they'd be more into it. It's a stimulant. Well, he was having a lot of sex. Maybe he beat the game of pussy. Maybe Big Don fucked enough and was like, maybe I should try a little bit of that suck. Maybe, just maybe, I'm a very sexual man. And I want to know what it's like to be me. Maybe I've spent all this time. It's like that scene in White Lotus where he's talking about becoming a trans lady. Maybe it's just one of those things where you're thinking, I have spent so much time. I've built a career, a life. Okay, I have staked my claim and reputation on I believe as George Carlin called it, a little bit of friction. Sex is just friction, right? I have been just ruthlessly shoving my cock into any hole that will have me for decades. And maybe, just maybe, you start to wonder, what is the yin to that yang? What is it like to be the hole you wish to see in the world? I think it was Gandhi who said that. Maybe that's what he's doing. Again, I am not a rich and powerful sex demon, so I don't know. I'm trying to get there, baby. Just kidding. I don't know. It's possible. I don't think it's that crazy. Now, did he do it? There's no proof. This is one email. Usually it's like a where there's smoke, there's fire thing. Usually you find like people would kind of know. A couple people would have come out and been like, that boy sucked the fucking skin off my cock. But maybe he just did it once. And there are photos of it. Now, who's Bubba? If Bubba's not Bill Clinton, we know Jeffrey Epstein had this weird painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress in his house. Scandalous. We need to find out, folks. Now, it's not the most important thing in the world. Pete Buttigieg could be president, and I'll bet my bottom dollar that boy has sucked a couple dongs in his day, and he's proud of it. And you know what? It's all about being you and being proud of it and not running from it. But there's not that much, as I can understand, in these files that's showing us what people really want to see. But what's interesting is how weird Trump is behaving. He's giving Ghislaine Maxwell, he put her in a nicer prison. The fuck? Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you put her in a nicer prison? This bitch is getting visited by dogs. She's visiting dogs. That's nice. Hey, you were involved in a pedophile ring. You don't get to pet the damn dog. I think that's a pretty fair concept. If you were involved in a global pedophile ring, you don't get to pet the damn dog. Keep your hands off the dog. You wouldn't even like dogs. They age too fast. They say 7 years at once. That'd be a tough window for you, you creep. Now, we don't have to go into a whole thing on Ghislaine. Was Ghislaine actually a pedophile, or was she just a woman who actually really loved Jeff? Maybe she just really loved Jeffrey Epstein, and it was one of those cases where she really loved that man. And some women will move heaven and earth to make their man happy. Even if they know they can't fully hang on to what that man is, they will fucking try, because that's real love. And I say this, and I mean this, get you someone who looks at you the way Ghislaine Maxwell looked at Jeffrey Epstein. It is beautiful what she did, but unfortunately for her, his hobby was pedophilia. And so you go to jail and you don't get to pet the dog. And I'm sorry, love makes you do crazy things. And we love love. And we love love in this house, this hotel. But you don't get to pet the damn dog, Ghislaine. And you need to tell us, and I know you won't, because Trump is treating you nicely and he's sending you to a nice prison where you get to pet the damn dog, and he's your last chance for a pardon, and he always says, we wish her well. He always says nice things about Ghislaine because she loved Jeff. But you need to tell us who Bubba is, and you need to tell us if we have the first gay president. Bye. Fine. Whatever. Now, this is a whole nother debate. Does sucking a dick one time make you bi, or are you capping? Because if he went out and he put bi in his IG profile, I'd be like, you better be about that life more than once. A lot of people are just pretending to be bi right now because they live in Brooklyn. You better be about that life. Don't just pretend you're bi because you can recognize attractiveness in other people. You better get your fucking fists dirty and be about that life. You don't get to be bi just because you're in Bushwick. Go out there and fucking live your truth, okay? But do we have the first bi president? And could we celebrate? I've said this before. For any group, and I hate that the country has become this thing where it's like crony capitalism and everyone just sucks Trump's cock. Hey, there's a role reversal. Because if you make him happy, then he makes everything happy, and it's all just about his ego. But that being said, that is how it works right now. And I think if we end up with proof that Trump sucked a man off, gays, I'm just telling you, I would claim him. And I would bring him to your side. Because you could get pride 12 months. You could get a year-round pride if you were the last group that supported Trump. And I'm not kidding. He'd be on the front of the float. I'm not kidding. He would do it. He doesn't strike me as and that's why this is so funny, and this is why we're allowed to engage in rampant speculation, because it's Trump's favorite activity. This right now, what we're all engaging in is just a little bit of karma. It's a little bit, and do we believe in karma? This podcast is famously an Eastern religion podcast. Yes, of course. It's the most Buddhist hour of your week. Yes, of course. Home of the 12. Home of Hunty B. Hunter Biden did like another one of the Joey Show clips, by the way. Another Hunter Biden like has hit the towers, folks. That's 2 now. That's why Hunty B is the leader of the 12, and real ones know this. But when you put a certain energy out in the universe, you can't be surprised when it comes back. That's just true, motherfuckers. It just is. And that's, I don't know if karma is a like, you can prove it, okay? Can you prove karma exists? Not really, because good things do happen to bad people and bad things do happen to good people. But I do believe you can put a little bit of oomph out in the universe and sometimes it comes home. And that's what's happening right now. Donald, you are a down-home, dirty little dog. You are. You just are. And I don't even think you'd be offended by that. I think you know it. I think you know you're a dirty little dog and you like it. Bow wow. You like going online, slinging a little mud, taking a little rumor and turning it into a truth that sticks in the back of the minds of the American people. You have claimed Michelle Obama is a man, Big Mike. You've claimed Barack is from Kenya. You've claimed that I don't know if you claimed that they drowned their chef on a paddleboard, but I honestly don't understand how you drown paddleboarding, and I'm not going to lie, that one's weird. But if we're all going to just get down home dirty and be little dogs online, this rumor is a fun one, and it's not nothing. Now, it could be brothers emailing. I don't want people reading any of the things I've ever sent to my brother, ever. No, never, at all. And that's why I probably won't do politics, because any sort of subpoena would wreck me. You read through any one of my fantasy football league chats, I am fucked. You even find out the name of one of my leagues, I am fucked. But I am a comedian. I'm allowed to do that. Ha ha. Could just be an email, It could just be an email where Mark and Jeff are having a little bit of fun. But what's weird about it is that Mark says, hey, ask Bannon. Like, here's the joke. I think he's joking about asking Bannon, and I think he's joking about the, Putin thing. This was in the middle of the Russia scandal, which, as we recall, was a hoax. Point to Donald, was a hoax. Not true. Media pushed it. Wasn't a very great look for the media. You got to be honest about things. That's true. Bad look. So he's kind of joking about that. Hey, but what he's joking about is he's like, does Putin have those photos? And Jeff knows what Mark is talking about. And Mark and Jeff are joking about photos of Donald Trump blowing something. And he's like, man, and I thought I had trouble. This is a potential international agent asset who is getting investigated by every level of the U.S. government for the worst crime imaginable, saying, wouldn't want to be Donald Trump right now. That's not nothing. That's of note. That's intriguing. So whose cock was it? I feel like this is a game of Clue. Whose cock was it? Bill Clinton with the 6-incher in the library. I think there was a wrench in that game. Clinton with the wrench in the ballroom. Yeah, you build a new ballroom. I bet there's a place that has room for more balls. How about that? I think as people, we're not showing enough gratitude that we get to experience this sort of thing. The whole pedophilia side of it makes it a lot less fun, I will say. But the whole finding out about the weird sexual proclivities of everyone who runs the world and then getting to engage in this level of rampant speculation. We used to pray for times like these. We used to pray for times like these. We eating good in the neighborhood. We are eating good in the neighborhood from a content perspective. Wouldn't want to be involved in it. Don't ever want to be involved in something like this. Doesn't seem fun. You know what does seem fun? Ripping an emergency pod about it, folks. I'm having a good time. You get clips like this. You just don't see clips like this every day, folks. You just absolutely don't.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. And so what if there was? That's a lot better than World War III, Owen. I never sucked any ding-dongs. But I'll tell you, if they were going to blackmail me to start World War III about one, I'd say, hey, I sucked a golf ball through a freaking garden hose.
Didn't you already tell Der Spiegel that?
No, the son of a bitch walked in there in my own office when I'd splattered stuff on myself and I was changing shirts. He goes, oh, that's a good shot. Let's get your shirts. And then he goes, I go, hey, have some of this chicken and sausage. So technically I said, Jones offered me his sausage. Yeah, give me a break, you son of a bitch. I like women, not men. And if I like men, I'd be proud of it. I'd have a line of them. But I ain't ever been in bed with no man. I've been in bed with probably 300 women. And you sons of bitches sit there and you play these games. And I'm sick of it. So...
I mean, what's better than that, ladies and gentlemen? What's better than that? This is the type of content that we are now treated to, and we don't appreciate it enough. These are good times. Yes, is it bleak that maybe, every single world leader on both sides of the aisle has some weird shit going on sexually, and some of it's like the worst stuff ever, and we're finding out about it? Sure. But the content, folks, the content is, you can't just get clips like that in a lab. You need rumors about Donald Trump sucking Bill Clinton's cock. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. Don't ever pretend like it's all bleak. Don't ever pretend like the internet hasn't brought us anything. It's brought us this, and you should be grateful. Yeah, the reality is a little dark, but the content is rather bright, folks. Is rather bright. And that's why we needed to do a little emergency podcast for you today. Look, It's an important issue in the country, and this is the place where you need to come for the important issues. Am I the Walter Cronkite of the day? Well, when it comes to presidents sucking each other off, allegedly, as discussed in emails, yes, I am. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am. Well, thank you very much for listening to this special emergency pod episode of The Joey Show. I wouldn't leave you without it. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, whatever the fuck. 12 up, 12 forever. I'm Joey Avery. Keep sucking those golf balls through garden hoses, you little sluts. That was aggressive. Good night. Thank God I have a